Don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Mike here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I've had a busy few days trying to organise and get myself ready for filming my 7 days of Halloween. So yeah, I know it's not even September yet, but you know, these things have got to be planned and done. So my head is full of spider webs and cobwebs and bats and ghosts and witches' hats and cauldrons and potions and that kind of thing at the moment. But I needed a thank you card today. And when I went to go and grab one from my stash of thank you cards, didn't have any. So I've got to sit and make some thank you cards. So I'm going to do a quick batch make. I'm going to do 6. So I'll nip over to my computer, I'll print off the resources that I need, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do and flip over to my overhead camera. So let's get cracking. So as I was saying, I'm up to the eyeballs in Halloween stuff at the moment. I've just got bits and bobs and Halloween things kicking about all over the place. You may remember that from a couple of years ago. Yes, I've had to go through a lot of my Halloween stuff just to make sure what I've got left resource wise and what else I need to purchase to do everything that I wanted to do. But anyway, while I was looking at those thank you cards and that kind of stuff, I realised I didn't have many ordinary thank you cards left, so I thought I would take this opportunity to do some today. So what I've done is I've cut some cardstock down to make some card blanks. Now the size I've gone for is what we call our metric A6 size, which is 4 1/8 and 5 7/8. And that differs from the American imperial size of A2, because obviously the paper, printer paper and that kind of stuff over in the States is slightly different size, 8.5 inches by 11, which is slightly different. So this is kind of like a comparison between the two. Would help if I actually got it in shot, wouldn't it? So this is a comparison between the two, as you can see. So the American size is wider but not quite as tall as ours, so there is a little bit of a disparity in size. So American size card would be 4 1/4 by 5.5 or 108mm by 140mm. A6 metric is 105mm by 148.5, or just drop the 5, just do 148. Bit of a difference. So the same, if you're wanting some embellishments or some ephemeral bits to put on top of these, then the ones that I've chosen from the Friends Digi-Download set are big enough to fit on both. So there you go. So whether you're in the States or whether you're in France, Switzerland or Australia, that Friends set, if you print out, and this is directly from the sheet, they print out the right size to fit on an A6 or an A2 card blank. I don't do A2s because I can't get envelopes for that size, because this is the size we've got here. This is the size of a standard postcard here in the UK. So, or thereabouts anyway, near enough. 4x6, almost. That's like postcard size. So that's the reason why I've done that. So what I've done is I've printed off 6 copies of the Friends Digi-Download, particularly page 2, because that's the one that doesn't have the hats. So this is one of the component pieces. And I've also cut out that fabulous phrase, "We all need someone to share in our weirdness." And I've got 6 of those from the same sheet, so I'm keeping those. So what else I've done is I've also got an old dictionary, and I've cut pieces out, or I've cut 6 pages out of the dictionary, or pages that were already falling out, like that one, because it's a really old dictionary and it's just falling to pieces. And what I did is I just cut the sheets so that they were just slightly smaller than the base card. So on my little template here, I've written down 101 by 144. So I know the exact size, so that I've got at least a couple of millimeters all the way around for a little border. So if you wanted to do that for your A2 sized ones, you'd need to do one. I don't know what it is in inches. I never actually worked it out in inches, but it was 104 millimeters by 136. So just maybe do like an eighth of an inch smaller all the way around. And then you're laughing. You laugh, then. There you go, you see. So that's what we've got. So those are the card bases. So I can get 2 out of an A4 sheet of cardstock. If you're doing A2, you should also be able to get 2 out of your 8.5 by 11. I hope that makes sense. So 3 sheets of craft cardstock. So I've done 4 that are sidewinders, and I've done 2 that are top loaders, just for variety, just for a wee bit of variety. It doesn't really make any difference. They're exactly the same size, except one's a top loader and the other one's a sidewinder. Okay, so what I want to do first is to get some spirit glue. So now I don't know whether or not this, because it leaked everywhere the other day. I found it, it'd been knocked over and it leaked. And there was a big puddle of what was like rubber, clear rubber. Now I think I'm going to hide into nothing with that. I might as well just jump straight in and open a brand new tube of all-purpose strong clear adhesive. So this yoo-hoo is spirit based, and you can tell because it smells like spirit based. But what it does is it doesn't wrinkle your paper. So I shall take my first sheet. Doesn't really make any difference which side, and I'm not going to go over everything. I'm just going to put a little bit down the sides and maybe just a little bit across the middle, and that will be it. I'm being very sparing, and I'm going to make sure I get the dictionary page the right way up. With it being spirit based glue, you've also got tiny bit of wiggle room, which is why I like using spirit based. When I mean spirit based, it's usually alcohol based. There we go. So there's the front of the first one. So what I'll do, I'm going to do the same to all of the others. So I've got 6 in total, done 1. So I'm just going to have a look just to see if there's, make sure there's no rude words on the dictionary pages, because that has happened in the past where I've done a dictionary page on a card or something and I hadn't checked what the actual words were on the page, and I've sent it and it's had a rude word on it, which has caused much merriment at the other end. Actually, it's almost worth doing, just for a laugh. Just for a laugh. Found the page with the F word on it. Okay, right, so you've seen me do 2. I'll go away, do the other 4, and then I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, it doesn't always go, or as you saw, it doesn't always go to plan. Sometimes they do rip, sometimes they don't. It depends on the thinness of the paper. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is just add a little bit of colour onto these pages. Now you can, if you want to, use your oxides, use whatever medium you want to, just add a bit of distress colour, distress stain or whatever, or even just blend a bit on top. I'm going to just add some of these spritz colours that I did a while ago, and I'm just going to add just a tiny bit. Just random colours, and I'm not trying to spray it all over my hands as well, like I just have done. Just give it a quick blast. Okay, so I've done those two. So I added yellow ochre, and I also added some turquoise along with that that lime green. So those are the three colours that I added onto there. And like you probably saw, it does help if you've got a heat tool that actually does work. My Tim Holtzy one, or the Ranger one, is about to die. It's had a long life. It's about 2 years old, but it's about had it. This one was sent to me recently in Happy Mail, but and I'm really sorry, I've forgotten at the moment who it was that sent it to me. I should have put a label on with the name on, really, but thank you, because it's been a godsend. This one does work pretty well. It's not quite as quiet as the other one though, so it is a little bit noisy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away and do the other 4, because I've got those 4 to do now, and I'll do all these together as one, and I'm just going to add some more random colours to these, including probably the lime green, the turquoise. I might even add some sea green, because I do like that colour as well, and I may just add in some lemon, just because. Right, so I'll do all 4 of those. I'll get all cleaned up, get them all dry, and then I'll be right back. Haha, I've got green fingers. Okay, so I've now got some colour down on all 6 of those cards. Now, if the chaos of the spraying and the drying with wet mediums sends you running for the hills and you don't like it, you prefer to have more control over what you're doing, then just do distress ink blending over the top. As long as you're not rubbing too hard on your thin dictionary paper, you should be okay to go. That way you've got much more control over the blends, much more control over what colours mix with what, you know, but I kind of like the mess, I kind of like the chaos, and I kind of like the uncertainty of not knowing what you were going to get. And also, each one's going to be completely different. When you've kind of got the control of ink blending, you know, the chances are you'll just recreate the same thing 6 times, you know, with slight variations, but maybe not as much difference. But hey ho, you know, each to their own, like I say. We do things our own way, the way we like to do it, but there are options. Okay, so there's the 6 card blanks that we've got there now, and they're all dry. Minor warping, but not a huge amount. That's going to look at the back of that one, fabulous. It's great. I mean, you could do the papers before and then cut them out if you want to, or cut them out, then do the papers, dry them, and then glue them on. Again, depends whether you like to embrace the chaos, embrace the mess. Right, next thing then, I've got to cut out all 6 of these lovely characters. So I could do this with scissors, or I could do this with a scalpel. It really depends on how quick it's going to take me, or how quick I am doing both. And I think I can probably do these fairly quickly with a pair of scissors. I don't probably have to worry too much about precision with a knife, he says. See, I always forget to talk when I'm concentrating. Don't worry too much if you get a couple of bits of raw white. That's okay. You can always disguise it later and come back in with an ink pad or a pen or just something just to get rid of those raw white edges. But I think in a situation like these, what we're creating, it doesn't really matter that much. So right, okay, so I will carry on cutting these out because, you know, watching paint dry and all that, and then I'll fast forward through the remaining bit of cutting this one out. Once you see me do one, there's no point you sitting there watching me do another 5 identical. So once we've done the one, I'll jump to where I've done all of them. All 6 of my creepy girls are cut out. So I've now just got to sort out the actual quotes. So what I'm going to do to these, now there should be 6, yeah there are 6, is just cut these closer to where I want them to be. So literally I'm going to cut them as close to the tops of the lettering and to the edges of the wording. So the font I've used on this is it's like the impact label. I'm not bothered about getting perfect straight lines either. Good for loads of things, these. Okay, so let's just move the girls out of the way, and then in fact I'm just going to run. I've printed these on paper rather than cardstock, mainly because I'm running out of cardstock and Ian needs some for his next show. So I sacrificed my needs for his. Because I can get away with paper, he can't really. He really needs the cardstock. So, but otherwise, I would have printed the quotes out. Right, so let's just grab that and bring in one of the card fronts. Right, I'm going to. I've got a Dilutions glue stick, and I'm also going to sneeze. Achoo! Achoo! Oh dear, I don't know where that's coming from. Ian's just shouted bless you from the garage down below. Thank you! So I'm going to put this across the bottom, like so. And then take that, like that, and then I'm going to grab the girls It's important to get the feet and then around the head, down the arms. Flip it over and then literally just stand them. Now, did I forget? There we go. We all need someone to share in our weakness. Drawback of the diary glue sticks. There we go. I think I might stick to the Yoo-hoo. There we go. So what I need to do now, it doesn't matter whether they get a bit grotty, because that's perfect, is do the same thing to the other 5. So I'll go away and do that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so all of my little quotes and all of my girls are now stuck down onto the card front. So what I could do, now if I wanted to, take a black pen and just do a little bit of a black border just all around the card, or I could just leave it as it is. I could add splatters to it, but for the minute I think I'm happy with the way these have turned out, and I'm going to leave them blank on the inside so that I can either just write in something personal or a thank you or whatever. I can use them for absolutely anything, so kind of like all occasion cards. So apart from the time it took to cut all of the girls out, which obviously was the longest part of making the cards, these are fairly straightforward because they're only a couple of layers. Obviously using the heat gun, the colour didn't take long to dry at all, because you know it's only a little bit of ink on paper. It's still there. yeah, I think those inks have stained my fingernails a little bit, which is fine. But yeah, so apart from that, you know, that they're fairly kind of like quick and easy things to do. They're the sort of thank you cards you can just sit and do, cutting out your characters and stuff while you sat watching Netflix or Amazon or whatever, and just make at your leisure. So at least now I've got some cards that I can just pop to one side, and if I need to send a little thank you to somebody, then at least I've got one to hand and I don't have to go rooting around to try and find something. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create these little mini thank you cards. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget, you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.